Securing food or food security. Now it's on top of the priorities of all governments worldwide. Well, the Ministry of Trade and Industry announced recently that there is going to be a joint action plan in the field of food security, and it's going to be activated on the ground between Egypt and Jordan. Let's have a closer look, and then we are going to be back to speak in detail about this pact.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade announced in a statement that Egypt and Jordan have agreed to draft and activate a joint action plan in food security field to be activated within 1 month. The statement said that the new plan will be carried out in cooperation with the private sector, adding that the two countries agreed to activate the Memorandum of Understanding on operating and developing the Jordanian-Egyptian logistic areas. The MOU was signed on the sidelines of meeting of the High Egyptian-Jordanian Joint Committee in February in Cairo. In a meeting for the Jordanian ambassador to Egypt and Secretary General of the Jordanian Ministry of Industry, Trade and Supply, Dana Zohabi, the two sides highlighted the importance of focusing on activities that contribute to enhancing food security and achieving integration between Jordan and Egypt in strategic and important food security. Jordanian Minister of Industry Youssef Al-Shamali said that Jordan pays great care and attention to the food security file in light of the challenges facing the world, especially the repercussions that resulted from coronavirus pandemic, the war in Ukraine, high prices, and disruption of supply chains globally. He added that food security is an integrated axis that brings together Jordan, the UAE and Egypt, as well as the vision of economic modernization for the Kingdom of Jordan for the next 10 years. In early June 2022, a Jordanian-Egyptian Emirati meeting to set a clear mechanism for implementing a number of projects emanating from the Integrated Industrial Partnership for Sustainable Economic Development that was launched in Abu Dhabi. The three-way partnership focuses on strategic goals which include advancing industries capable of holding competitions and attaining sustainable development, according to the editorial. The three-way partnership focuses on strategic goals which include advancing industries capable of holding competitions and attaining sustainable development.
Welcome back. And to shed more light on the joint industrial Egyptian-Jordanian agreement, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Professor of Economics, Dr. Ahmed Sabri Abou Zeid. Hello, Dr. Abou Zeid. Very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Sir, now cooperation and coordination among different states, different countries in the face of the current global challenges, it's not a luxury anymore. It should be all the time a win-win situation for the best interest of all the peoples. How do you assess the significance of boosting food security file in light of these challenges, whether it's the COVID-19 repercussions or the European conflict?
Well, food security has been a concern for Egypt and MENA countries for a long time, and the only way to solve this, it cannot be solved alone. I mean, countries, as you mentioned earlier, it is no longer a luxury to cooperate alongside with other countries in the area. Mm-hmm. So far, Egypt and Jordan have signed an MOU 2-3 days ago.
Yep.
Actually, this signature has come after another agreement that has been done between Egypt and Jordan as well as the UAE
yep.
a month and 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
The point of the food security in Egypt and Jordan cannot be analyzed without thinking about the triplet organization of the three countries. These three countries have signed first. In order to have the food security, is not only about the food, it's about the land, fertilizers, labor, and capital. Mm-hmm. So these three countries has agreed that the land would be provided by Jordan. Mm-hmm. Okay, fertilizers as well. Ammonia would come from Egypt. Mm-hmm. Some other stuff would come from UAE, and labor and expertise of Egypt would help along the way. Egypt has a long history in expertise in food security. It started with the FAO of the United Nations, Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, since early 2000s, and Egypt has an experience from 2009 up to 2013 to achieve food security in villages through the promoting of livestock and crops.
Yep.
So the three countries would like to benefit from this, as well as the cooperation that has been done, putting a capital of 10 billion by Abu Dhabi Investment Fund in order to achieve food security, not only for the three countries, but the whole MENA region, because of the rising disruption in the supply
What
chain.
we call integration, or what we call a comprehensive deal, what we call a win-win situation for all the countries involved into such pacts.
Yes, I agree. It is, because each country would provide something that other country misses. Again, Egypt with expertise and labor, Dubai or Emirates and Abu Dhabi holding with a capital investment of $10 billion, and Jordan with the fertilizers, land and underground water. So it is actually a win-win situation to bring food security along the way.
And would this also, sir, be only a start? I mean, this is going to be the platform where other projects should be launched with the fruitful cooperation among the three Arab allies?
Actually, the agreement itself includes other aspects. It's not only about food. It's food, oil, gas, petrochemicals, financial and banking sector expertise, mineral resources, and many more. So actually, this is just the beginning of food security. And if you look along the memorandum, you would find that all of them has become a necessities today. I mean, the latest one that has been cited about the micro, small, and medium enterprises. So it encourages only, or it includes the private sector along the way with the public sector.
Sir, correct me if I'm wrong here, or with what you're saying. We are speaking about an integrated industrial partnership, sustainable economic development, affording more job opportunities, especially for the youth of the three countries, and this is only the start. True?
Ma'am, you're 100% correct. It is an integrated, it's a comprehensive process, okay? Not only to achieve food security, but to establish several industries which create several jobs. And the key here, again, of establishing these industries is not only the lack of capital in some countries. Even if the capital is affordable, private sector sometimes fear to produce because of the market. However, with three markets available, that would allow this private sector to enjoy the economies of scale.
This was my coming question, sir. You're reading my mind. I wanted to speak a little bit, or to speak in more details about the role of private sector, because President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was keen in many occasions to speak about the importance or the vital role of the private sector, because nothing can be achieved with the state alone, with the public sector alone. The private sector should have maybe, and in some fields, the lion's share. If you agree with me on that.
Yeah, the government is absolutely correct. You cannot, I mean, the public sector cannot achieve all of the objective of the country by itself. Private sector has to be included. And the experience of the Western society has proven right in the last years. However, this should be still a part for the public, but private sector, after a while, should lead the effort, should lead the process. And I guess the government currently is encouraging the private sector to do so.
Yeah.
Okay, and the President Sisi is giving some of the sectors, for example, tax break, is encouraging them by allocating some parts of the land along the way to these sectors. So private sector should lead in the coming way. And again, the whole initiative from three countries, there is part of it that dedicates some parts of the funds to the private sector to finance all of their efforts. It has to be on the ground.
And to take care also of the SMEs. I mean, the national mega projects, of course, are great, but also we should have both legs, whether it's the national mega projects or the small, medium, even micro and macro projects. True?
Micro and the small, medium enterprises actually has to come maybe earlier or maybe before the mega projects. Mega projects are funded by the government as well as huge companies that already exist. But these huge companies alone in the market will not be able to achieve sustainable development and economic growth. So we need a helping hand to achieve this sustainable. Sustainable means that it's going to last forever or for a long period of time. So this has to be done by the SMEs. And looking deep in the initiative, it encourages MSEs, it encourages expertise exchange to help these MSEs to flourish. And also, and most importantly, financial and banking sector funding to these SMEs. Okay?
Great, and taking into consideration also that Her Excellency Minister of Trade and Industry, Dr. Naveen Gama, was responsible for the SMEs before being a minister, and she's still wearing wearing the two hats to make sure that the balance or the equation is going to be all the time for the best interest of both those new entrepreneurs or startups, and in the same time pushing forward our development and our economic wheel, if I may say so.
Absolutely. I mean, hiring Dr. Gama to head the ministry, it's a signal that the government knows the values of those MAEs in the coming future.
Yes.
So Dr. Gama actually is doing a great job, as you said, in balancing the role of public sector, private, big companies, as well as micro and small and medium enterprises in the market.
Amen to that. Well, I enjoyed our discussion, Dr. Abou Zeid, and we are going to leave you, sir, with a promise to see you again, to see you here next time, inshallah, at our dear guest live here in the studio on Nile TV international screen. We were very much delighted to have via phone Professor of Economics, Dr. Ahmed Sabri Abou Zeid. Well, right after the short break, we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned.
الواقع الاقتصادي في مصر تحدي ضخم ولازم نعترف بده ونقبله ونعالجه. اطلعوا كلموا الناس وقولوا الموقف الاقتصادي ايه. زي ما الثورة ليها ايجابيات، الثورات بيبقى ليها سلبيات على مجتمعاتها. الارهاب والفساد كانوا عاملين اضافيين